HPIBet.com. Access, rewards, and more.
It's been a week of inauguration, so hey, why not bring you the inaugural edition of Racing Around the World presented by HPI Bet. I'm Jason Portwando. I think that's Chad Rosema under there. Hey man, you look a little bit different.
Hey, this is my COVID look, I guess we'll call it, my lockdown look, whatever. It's a little Rocky-ish, Rocky 4, just minus the tan and the 1% body fat, right?
I can't remember Mr. T's character, so we'll just move on. But hey, I like it. It looks good. I really feel like, it's got a 2021 feel to it. So let's do it. So we're here to talk about some races. We're going to do that in a bit. But how have you been handling this whole situation? I mean, this is our second lockdown. Maybe it's becoming old hat.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's not ideal, but we always say, things can be worse. And the only thing I find, this one's maybe a little tougher only because we're in the dark of winter. At least on the first lockdown, we were kind of getting into the nicer weather and we knew golf was on the horizon. But, hey, we just sit it out. We do our part and hopefully things just continue to improve. But I'm like you, man. I just sit by the window. I look outside and I wait for my son to say, hey, I need help with my schoolwork.
I do the same with my daughter. And my wife is working right there on the other side of this table. I look at the west wing, the east wing. It's become the new norm, right? But it could be worse as talked about. So we're going to have some fun with this show. We're going to talk racing around the world, just like the name says. Bunch of different racetracks. We have a busy weekend that starts literally today on HPI.
As much as you and I would both love to see, our tracks, Woodbine and Woodbine Mohawk Park on this list, and even other, Ontario racing tracks, that'll come. It's coming back. But hey, we still got you covered with plenty of action to dive into, and it's a big weekend. I mean, I really do love this time of year, especially on the thoroughbred side. As you know, we've just got some great races coming up, and before you know it, we'll be, into the thick of those Derby preps.
Time flies when you're having fun, and you take a look at Gulfstream Park. By the way, I'm still salivating looking at all those wagering opportunities we have over the next few days, and just round the clock on HPI Bet. But I know Santa Anita says that their championship meet officially started December 2nd, but for me, it starts this weekend. We have a ton of graded stakes action, 7 of them actually on Saturday. Santa Anita is also another track to keep an eye on. They got the Palos Verde. You saw that huge $555,000 carryover for the Pick 6. That's later on this afternoon. But yeah, no doubt, Chad, Gulfstream Park, the hot spot on Saturday.
Oh, and what a card, start to finish. And, if you check on social, too, there's just so many handicappers and bettors and horse players that are just like you. They're salivating at what is ahead. And, these events are quickly growing in popularity, as we know, and you put a big purse behind it, and it's a lot of fun. And we see that with our own products as well. But the Pegasus World Cup Turf Invitational, and we even have a Samson Homebred to root on, and that's Say the Word from Post 11.
Yeah, let's talk about this race. Set to go off at 4:59 Eastern. As you saw earlier, 11:40 the special post time for Gulfstream Park on Saturday. They got 12 races. Say the word, trainer Phil D'Amato has done a really nice job with some of these new recruits that have been coming his way from, I guess for him would be north of the 49th. And Say the Word looked really good here in the Hollywood Turf Cup. I mean, a nice, slick, ground-saving journey by Flavien Prat. We're keeping an eye on the 4-horse here. And look at this guy just tearing up the turf. Just runs out of real estate. And I think this is going to be a perfect springboard to a huge effort coming up later on this weekend. And I'm not sure about the price. I'm hoping that I get somewhere in the neighborhood of a 4.5 to 1, maybe even a 5 to 1. It's a pretty deep race, as you would expect. We're talking about, a huge pot of $1 million on the line. And when you take a look at the field, Chad, it's deep. I mean, almost every horse in the field, I think, outside of one, is coming off a podium finish.
Yeah, and, going a mile and 3/16, hopefully there's some speed up front to kind of set it up for some closers. I think there's a great group of closers, Say the Word included in that, of course. And I think Shug McGahee's got himself a nice 1-2 punch, but I am going to side with the 4-horse of his, North Dakota. And I know this is a big step up. He's just coming in off his very first graded win, a grade 3 Red Smith victory there. But if you look at his lines, I mean, this horse is just getting better and better with each and every start. And he's definitely one of the most confident horses coming into this race. And if he just gets the right amount of pace up front, Jay, I think he's got a big shot in here. But, Pletcher's got himself a 3-headed monster in this race too. And, he'll have options of how he wants to play them, if he's got a rabbit out there, whatever it may be. But I'm sure his horses will be right in the mix too.
Yeah. It's Pletcher, right? Of course, you got to keep an eye on his horses. But I'm going to go say the word. I really feel like the form is solid. That was a nice little introduction to the D'Amato Shed Row. And the buyer figures continue to improve with every start. Pratt got a chance to know him now, and I really feel like this horse is coming up to a big, big race. Another twist of fate, though. Peter Miller, another horse that just joined a different barn, and I really feel like, off that win, and the San Gabriel has a chance to build on it. So, yeah, you got a lot of options in here. I would say this. Don't take a short price on any horse coming up in that 11th race, the Pegasus World Cup Invite on Saturday at Gulfstream Park. All right, let's jump on in to another grade 1, this one being the Big Daddy, where we have $3 million up for grabs. And Chad, appropriately enough, we got 3 millionaires in the field. We got a double millionaire and a horse on the brink of joining that millionaire club in Tax.
Yeah, and these purses to chase for, they only, pad the stats. That's for sure. 3 million up for grabs with this group. And just such an established group in here. And then you've got some that have suddenly turned some heads, like a Nick's Go. How good has he been for Brad Cox? And, I just heard an interview with him the other day that he did with Acacia Courtney. And, I mean, he said Nick's Go is training even better right now leading into this. That's just downright scary considering how unreal he has been for him in 3 starts.
21 1/4 lengths combined margin of victory. And this horse is like a 4-legged version of Motown. All he does is produce records. And is it a Keeneland thing, though? We're going to find out, because a lot of his damage has been done over that speed-favoring course in Kentucky. And all of a sudden he's in Florida. If nobody goes with Nick Goes, then Nick's Go is going to be gone. But I'm going to keep an eye on Code of Honor. And I know you like this guy a bit too. I want to go back to the last race for him. It was the Clark, and just kind of bottled up here. You can see the Hall of Famer John Velasquez waiting to get racing room. And, I don't mind the ride. I noticed that Velasquez is not going to get the call this time around as Tyler Gaffalione. And, I just think he got beat by a better horse on this occasion. Bodie Express was well meant this afternoon / early evening. You can see under artificial lighting here. And Bodie Express just gone. And sometimes you just got to tip your cap. I know Code of Honor was the favorite on this occasion. Couldn't get it done. But to me, it was still a solid enough try. I think it's going to act as a perfect springboard to Saturday. And I look at the field. Again, it's going to be deep. It's going to be deep, of course, because you're talking about a $3 million race. But Code of Honor, for me, getting Gaffalione for the first time, I like that angle. And I really feel like he doesn't have to be far out of it. He's got good tracking speed. He's going to offer a decent enough price just because he got so many options in here. But, that's what I'm going to put my money on. And I like the fact that he's done some damage in Florida. That's where he broke his maiden, came back after that, finished a solid 3rd in the Florida Derby. Horses for courses, always something that I like to keep an eye on. And I'm going to go with the 2019 Travers Champ to get back inside the winner's circle.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jay, as you talked about. I mean, Code of Honor is the class of the field. I think he can race with a variety of trips, but he'll be, sitting there a few lengths off of that early speed, I would expect. I think Gaffalione will have him into a good spot. And Nick's Go, even if he does get pressured, he's still going to be tough. He's still going to fight. I think he's going to be awfully tough in here. I'm excited to see what he does, but I think he will face some pressure, and hopefully enough pressure that it sets it up for us. Because, I think Code of Honor, even though someone will say Nick's Go is more of a, now horse than Code of Honor is, I still think this guy's got a big shot in here.
Speed, it's been a dangerous thing for Nick's Go, and he's got such a high cruising velocity. I mean, it's crazy. And the works are there. Comes in off a bullet move in Louisiana at the fairgrounds, and Joel Rosario is going to ride in the 5-year-old debut. So why not take a shot? And I'm sure that is a theme of quite a few owners and trainers. And I had a chance to speak with Safi Joseph Jr. having another amazing meet at Gulfstream Park. And we talked about Math Wizard, and obviously he's a 20-1 upset possibility. And he said, you know, his horse, that last one in the Harlan's Holiday, really moved him up. And he's a type of horse that always races second off the shelf, you know, better than that first one. Post, though, that's the stinger for me, Chad. I mean, you get post 12. Don't forget, the starting gate, 150 yards from that first turn. And I know he likes to race from off of it and put in a big, you know, move at the end, like Safi says, but that post just really stinks.
Yeah, he's going to be far out of it, as you probably talk about it. But again, if they mix it up enough, who knows? Maybe he's some kind of a long shot to play underneath there. But, you know, I want to ask you about Harper's first ride. What do you make of this horse? Because everything looks so impressive on there, and I mean, this is obviously a huge step up. But given the way he's raced, doesn't he deserve the shot?
Confidence is huge. You win 10 of 17, so regardless of what you're bidding, to me, that at least shows you know how to win. But yeah, the waters get drastically deeper here. Not facing Maryland Company here, so maybe one you can use as part of the gimmicks for sure. And hey, it's a horse race, right? Funnier things have happened. We watched Mucho Gusto last year with Erad Ortiz get a perfect trip and just go on to victory. But you never know. Maybe we'll keep an eye on that one as a bit of a price play. But Chad and I both going Code of Honor in the Pegasus World Cup. All right, let's talk a little harness now because the Meadowlands is in action. They got 14 races. Post time, 6 o'clock Eastern. I think post time for the final race is like 11:15. So, yeah, it is a long card on Saturday. We want to keep an eye on race number 10. Seeing some familiar names in here, Chad, and Western Fame. Geez, we just talked moments ago about the $2.6 million man Code of Honor, you know, sort of standing over that class in terms of the Pegasus World Cup. Well, Western Fame does the same here.
Yeah, and, you know, for Team Triton, who dominated Down Under, made the move here last year, and they've done very well in Western Fame. You know, if he just races to, you know, his caliber, he's going to be awfully tough in here. But there's some others for sure. And I want to point out one that's next door, Decision Day. And I know this one's moving up, but at least he's moving up and in good shape. I mean, he's raced very well in 3 straight outings here for Bruce Saunders. Last time out, he was on poor cover. Dexter Dunn's charge just didn't bring Decision Day into the contending spot he needed. And you'll see him, as this is a great finish in this race here. You know, Respect Our Flag, who is the 6 in this week's edition of this race, is the one that gets the win. But look at McCarthy and Decision Day flying on the end of it. And had it not been for that poor cover, Jay, he might reach at nearly 9-1. Now, that was McCarthy's first time aboard. I know he's opted to drive Andrew Harris's charge on the inside from the rail, but picks up Corey Callahan, and we know Corey's more than capable as well. And I just like that this guy's got a great late kick, and that if they can mix it up enough with an inside post, this guy and it could just be positioned well to pull off what would be a mild upset. Because I think anybody beating Western Fame in here would be an upset.
I'm with you. Western Fame, 1.7 million in the bank. That's more than the entire field combined. So to me, that's a pretty impressive stat there. And just the back class, right? I mean, this is a very, very cozy situation for Western Fame. You know me, I'm like you. I've got that allergy to favorites, right? But can't beat them, join them. And I really feel like that is the one. But, you know, I was intrigued by that Tallhurst Santana on the inside. I mean, that was a victory for that horse last time out, Chad. The horse was rimmed, but did get cover, so that obviously helped out. But Western Fame for me, Decision Day for you. I'm going to keep an eye on that inside horse. Anybody else, or is that basically it?
You know what? I think even the locals, Hidden Delight, probably needed that last start, as did Points North. I mean, they had both been off, basically a month. So I think they'll both be better in this spot here tonight.
All right. So Vettel intrigues me from the outside. I'm an F1 guy, so I'm not sure if that's Sebastian's horse that they named, but that one does intrigue me. But speaking of the outside of the gate, Points North, preferred winner. Can Points North do it? I mean, does have that recent try over the track, so maybe that'll help.
Canadian Pacing Derby consolation winner last year as well. And, he's been a nice addition to the Carmos Yellow Barn. Carm, he already races a string, obviously mainly in Canada, but then, south of the border, he's got a handful of horses that race year-round. But he's added even more to the mix, including this guy. And he's got a bunch on the weekend here, Friday and Saturday, and he was kind enough to sit down and chat about him.
Yeah, I was really happy with him. to be honest, he only trained one, real good trip in between. Mark McDonald, that's the first time he had driven him, and he loved him. He said he's a big, strong horse, and he's only going to be better this week. So it's still a tough enough bunch. I don't think it's any tougher than the horses he's been racing, against at Mohawk week in and week out. But, from the 9 post at the Meadowlands, it's tough enough. They're going to go 49, and hopefully he can get spotted again and, come away close to the lead and be a little closer down the lane.
Again, who's your best shot?
You know what? If I would have had to say who was my best shot, it would be him. The other one I really like is Buck Dancer. The first time I raced him, he had been off exactly 30 days or 29 days. And I only trained him 1 good mile in those 4 weeks. And he went out Mohawk and won his first start. He was first start Lasix. Then he rhymed off three wins in a row. And now he's again been off just over 30 days. So this time he's got a couple good training miles into him. So I don't think the layoff is really going to hurt him. The competition's maybe a little stiffer than what he's been seeing at Mohawk. But, again, Meadowland's a faster track. There's trotters in there that show 53, but I think he's capable of that. So Buck Dancer on the trotting side, I think, has a real good shot. And then Points North on the pacing side would be my 2 best bets, I think.
Appreciate that, Carm. Our thanks as well to Saffie Joseph Jr. for his thoughts with Math Wizard. And, hey, you know what? Good to see Carm's face. It's been a while since we've seen our local trainers, so we appreciate him helping us out.
Yeah, and we've got a bunch of locals to root on, not just on the thoroughbred side, but harness side as well. Carm, Blake McIntosh, see Tony O'Sullivan's got one down there. A bunch of them racing in Ohio, too. So enjoy. You can enjoy it right through HPI Bet. That's
right. It's time now to walk the walk. We've talked the talk. We've given you some previews, some insight. We've heard from some trainers, but now it's time to put some money on the line. This segment we dub Bankroll, right? And hopefully we can increase the bankroll as we go along week to week to week. $50. That's what we have to spend. And this week's showcase event got to be the Pegasus World Cup, right? I'm pretty sure the winner of that race as well gets an automatic invite to the $20 million Saudi Cup. So, yeah. You'll want to win it for more reasons than just one. My play, I'm going to just be kind of conventional here. I'm not going to, be all that exotic to begin. I just want to win in our first show. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put $50 to win on Code of Honor. Simple as that, Chad. And here's the irony. I'm not the biggest of Code of Honor fans because I liked Vino Rosso, back when they had their clash. And I still feel like that was the wrong call for Vino Rosso to get DQ'd. But anyways, that's another talk for another time. So I was against Code of Honor that time. Now I'm with him. I'll put $50 to win on him.
And I considered doing the same bet, but I ended up going just a little bit more exotic as I went with an exacta. I'm going to go Code of Honor on top, though, and only him on top. But I got 2 real good ones in behind. Nick Sko, obviously, who's going to be a major player. And then Tax. That was such a huge effort from him. And I don't know if this is him taking a big step. He's already been a good horse, but off that last race, I don't know if that signaled he's just kind of going to another level. If it is, he scares me in there.
All right. Well, we're going to find – and Tax has talked about, just kind of knocking on the door in terms of that status of being a millionaire. Hey, I'm going to throw one other thing out at you. I'm going to surprise you here. Okay. In terms of the Open Handicap, Miami Valley, race number 12 on the weekend. I'm pretty sure that's tonight it's coming up. I like the Bethanator, so I'm going to throw that one at you. The Bethanator. Tyler Smith with Nelson Willis as the trainer. How about that? I'm giving you an extra harness pick. Is that impressive?
Well, and I'll give you Tyler George with Trace Dietrich. Off the bench, George has been on fire to start the. Just puts up gaudy stats anyway. Big shot even from there.
I like it. Checks on the way. Well, that's it.
Yes, sir.
It felt good, did it not?
Hey, it felt good to do something. And with my buddy, I was happy. Let's keep this going. Can we do another one in about 20 minutes? I'm free.
20 minutes? All right. Sounds good. You start. If I'm not there, I'll join you again next week. We got a shout out.
Here we go.
Carm Auciello, Saffie Joseph Jr. A big thank you to our technical producer and our director, Luke Van Belkom. He's Chad Rosema. I'm Jason Portwando. Thanks for being a part of this inaugural edition of Racing Round the World presented by HPI Bet.